Now they get caught mixing live bird flu with the vaccine stocks in Europe, and now the UN chooses them to make the vaccine for that. I mean, how would you trust these people to clean toilets, much less be making the vaccine?
I wouldn't, but remember this, Janet Napolitano declared a health emergency. And remember, Alex, when you and I were beating the drum on the, what was it, the Medical Emergency Health Powers Act or something, MEPA, M-E-H-P-A? I think everybody better go Google that. And the thing is, I may have a couple of the initials backwards or something, but basically it gives, under a health emergency, this is the prima facie cause for the declaration of martial law. You don't take the vaccine, you go into the camps. I'm telling you, this is...
No. I mean, Steve, you're right. They have always drilled and trained on record that they're going to lock down, do forced inoculations. They've trained the clergy response teams. The first thing is tell the people that's of the Lord to take the shots, go to the camps to turn their guns in. They have drilled the whole martial law architecture, not around fighting al-Qaeda, but around confiscating guns during a breakdown of society, during forced inoculations. You're absolutely right, and I just hope this isn't the big one.
Well, I believe it's a big one, and you said a powerful statement. These doctors, especially the gentleman you're quoting in the University of Texas, remember this, a doctor is trained with one twist of the scalpel one way to cure, with a twist of the scalpel the other way, it kills, or he or they kill. Look at the greatest mass murders in history, Alex, and besides, of course, the Aztecs and others, but the thing is that they're doctors, obviously Dr. Mengele, obviously Dr. Ishii of World War II fame, and it's fascinating. When you even take the higher-ups of al-Qaeda, they're doctors, they're medical doctors. The point that I'm trying to make here is this, is that you have a group of sinister, sold out to Satan individuals that control the world's financial structure that now have been given the go-ahead to launch the destruction of the planetary population through all and every means.
Well, they're Luciferian witch doctors. It goes back to their original calling, the twin snakes.
Absolutely. And the point that people have to recognize is that if you don't act now, you'll be forced to react later. And I'm getting emails because I put out the red alert, or excuse me, orange alert. And by the way, can I make something clear? When I put out the red alert, and I don't know if you've heard about this, some people, I didn't call it that, but it'd be called the red screen of death. That means that you've got 2 weeks before the hammer falls. Don't dismiss my orange alert. It was right. I'm telling you, this weekend's going to get very, very problematic. And from that point forward, I can't say that, at what time, because I know the July date for the exercise of bringing in all the NATO troops. And Alex, no one will come clean with how many NATO troops are being brought into the country.
Oh my gosh, I forgot they're having a huge NATO drill in Mexico and Arizona. They're having FEMA drills all over the country set for next month. 4 pathogenic releases. I covered that last week when you were on and other shows. I'm starting to put all... This is very bizarre coincidence if it's not on purpose.
There are no coincidences, Alex.
In
this world.
in
Not in
politics,
the world that you and I discuss, there are no coincidences.
Well, certainly not in the world of politics, like Roosevelt said. If something happens, you can know it was planned that way in politics. And you put all of this together, it certainly is a very, very interesting time to be alive. Steve, I want to throw this out now. I have got a meeting I've got to go to in about 15 minutes after the show's over, but I promise to go to about 15 callers. If we give them each 1 minute when we come back, that would be 15 over into overdrive. Will you do a 15 minutes of overdrive with me?
Sure, I'll do whatever you want, because it's that important, Alex. Listen, our days are numbered. Let me share this with you. Ladies and gentlemen, the warnings are only in effect until the events take place. When the events are taking place, the warnings cease. That's where I believe we are, Alex. We are now in the last bits of time that the mercy of the God of heaven is granting this nation, to actually pleading with this nation through you, me, others that are warning, but the point is the warnings are over. It's now implementation time. They don't get any more time. We are out of time. It's in effect now.
Wow, Steve, I never heard you really talk like this. And just last week you said an orange alert, in the next month they're going to drop the hammer. And I've never seen you do something like that. And then that's why I had you on today. And I'm going from memory, but it was either on your show last Thursday, Thursday before last, or that Monday 8 days ago that you did talk about flu being the issue. So we're going to come back and take calls, going to overdrive. Stay with us. But right now, Nathan in New York, you're on the air with Steve Quayle. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nathan. You're on the air. Okay, he's gone. Let's go to Leo in Missouri. Go ahead, or is it Montana? Leo, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Steve. You guys stole a little bit of my thunder. I'm one of the guys that happens to think this may be real based on that 96 Air Force article that came out saying that 30 million people would be killed by the flu.
And by the way, I dropped the ball on that. I meant to cover that at the start of the show. When we go into overdrive, I'm going to cover that at Infowars.com. Go ahead.
Okay, and then the other reason I think it may be real is all these mass graves that are popping up. They're being dug for a reason. It's not just one of these things where...
And by the way, that's not a rumor. I have the mainstream news articles, and I have the executive orders right here. We're going to cover that, too, when we come back, where they are building mass graves. Then they'll use a straw man grave that isn't real to discredit it. Steve Quayle.
Well, absolutely. The caller is absolutely right. You know, Alex, how much more in our face does it have to be? And my answer to that is probably you have to be on your back with the last bits of life looking up at the dirt they're throwing in on you at the mass grave. This should really make most people infuriated that while we're talking on talk radio today on the 27th of April, the thing is that these people are planning the extinction, annihilation of a minimum of 30 million people. By the way, I don't want to make any misconceptions. I believe this is it. I believe this is the match that has been lit.
All right, stay there, Steve. We've been getting all perspectives, and we appreciate yours and respect it. We're going to call you back, Steve, at our phone system right now. We'll be back for everybody else in 1 minute on our phone system at 888-201-2244. We'll continue to cover this at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Stay with us.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
Sherry in California, I appreciate you holding. Sherry, you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I want to know what it means by we have days and weeks. I didn't totally understand what that really means.
When Steve Quayle was saying that, or when the media was saying that? Well, I mean, he's saying that, if the globalists are launching their pandemic flu operation, like they did in 1918, like they tried to do in 76, but people refused to take the shots because the first ones to take it got sick or died. I mean, we know the HPV, Gardasil's killing a lot of the girls that take it. They're practicing just putting this out there. We get hurt, and then they act like it's no big deal, and they move forward. I don't know what's happening. You know, we had Sherry Tenpenny on, medical doctor, saying, look, it looks like this is engineered. She's down in Mexico, but she says they're overhyping it unless it's going to mutate into something else. We had Deagle on, who said he thinks this is a beta test for something bigger down the road. Then the head of Homeland Security.
I hope you have Deagle on again.
Huh?
I hope you have Deagle on again.
No, I will. But then the head of Homeland Security comes out and says, yeah, this one will probably peter out, but the next one's going to be the big one. You got the UN saying billions will die for years from bird flu. I mean, the flu doesn't normally do that. So we're looking at what they're saying and saying these are eugenicist murderers. It's possible they could pull this. Now, Steve says he believes that they could be beta testing, and this may be it. I don't know. But I appreciate your call. Steve Quayle, we just got him back online. He heard that. Steve, I mean, why, just all of these pieces of the puzzle, you think they may be pulling something?
Well, absolutely, Alex. I don't believe that this is the forerunner. We know that obviously the G20 met. We know the Bilderbergers met. We know that this was the year to go for it. The idea that Kissinger's statement that by September the guns will be called in. Obviously, you're going to need a mass event to basically begin the mass roundup and the mass assassinations. Again, I say to everyone out there that has had the census takers show up, Alex, can I just cover that just for 1 minute? I know people that were in the military who were at some of these Tea Party rallies, I'm talking retired, who had census takers at their house within 1 hour after the time they left the Tea Party.
No, that's been confirmed. That's been confirmed. The FBI was there. They now call their spies census takers, and we covered that in 2000. When I got the long form that supposedly only 1 in 6 got, all the other patriots I know that are prominent got the long form. Do you own guns? What are your stocks and bonds? Do you have a low flush toilet? You know, all of these questions, and saying by law you got to answer this, when the form had a line on it, only the little top part, it was all color of law. And yes, they're going to use the new census. They're saying it's going to be monthly as their new little intelligence ops confirmed with the GPS marking their houses. Yeah, this is, I mean, they're really trying to do a takeover here.
Right, and everybody should know this, that one of my listeners, one of our mutual listeners, queried the census taker, and they even shook their head and said, well, this is weird, because they're giving us pre-selected addresses to verify that the people, are you so-and-so at this address? The census taker volunteered the information saying, normally we just go and canvass everybody, but she said, this is weird. No, it's not weird. It's predetermined. Alex, the information that's gathered by the FBI and whoever that's out there, it's using the face recognition software. It's a satellite uplink, and then in real time, not later in the day or whatever, people are dispatched. The closest census quote, and I call them scouts, okay, I'm calling them New World Order scouts, are dispatched to validate the address. People that have been out of the military, especially Special Forces, Special Operations, okay, Delta, Green Beret, you name it. Anybody that has an expertise is being physically located.